Some brand new concept art for the Acolyte has emerged, and some of it is pretty darn amazing, especially when you're talking about lightsaber designs which they ended up not using. Now I have to admit some of these are pretty outlandish and absolutely insane, but how cool would it have been if we got to see some of these designs in live action with some of the Jedi who fought the Stranger? Even Qimir's lightsaber looked very impressive. But here's the thing, some of these are simply titled Sith lightsaber, and given some theories that we still haven't met the Master of Qimir, one or two of these might still come into play in the final episode next week. If they were thinking about lightsabers which could have sold well as like Black Series versions, I think the fandom would have gone crazy for one or two of these. The original design for Indara's saber was so majestic, but almost a bit too fantasy. It's described as marble becoming translucent when the blade is ignited. That would have looked visually stunning. I do think the lightsabers they ended up going with aren't too bad, they're not terrible, but they are pretty basic. The High Republic is full of pretty imaginative hilts. I just wish they would have brought one or two of these into play in the Acolyte. That is all I'm saying. One of the original lightsaber designs for what I think was going to be Master Soul has a triple emitter creating a very strong, thick beam. 3 very thin sabers coming out to emit a giant, thick, dangerous triple whammy. Some of these designs are a little more militant, and my favourite of the Sith sabers looks very ancient, something you could imagine being crafted on Korriban. This hilt really does look like it was owned by an ancient Sith. These would have been so freaking awesome. In the case of this saber, they say the kyber crystal is encased in a metal clamped onto a firing mechanism, and I think on the crazier end of these concepts, a dual lightsaber which can be used as a single blade too. Similar to Qimir's, it can be split and attached into 2 separate ones for Jarkai. So moving away from the sabers, we also have some concept art for some of the planets like Kofar, a space RV camper trailer. And I think generally speaking it's pretty crazy how the final product is just so tame compared to the concepts. I know there's a big difference in the way the execution of live action looks, but with the budget they had, and with some of these designs being pretty credibly possible, it is a big disparity. That's always been the case though. If you look at the concept art for Mando or Boba Fett, the Kenobi series, it's easier to execute stunning art in the concept stage compared to what we see on screen. In order to have a consistent production quality at the end, finished products do have to be a bit toned down. Nonetheless, I do wish we did have a bit more crazy in this series, and I think even fans who love the show would admit the same thing. And here we see the Jedi with Basil, the sniffing beaver, as I like to call him, about to enter the forest of Kofar. This is more in line with the show, but some of these lightsaber concepts look pretty darn awesome, and who knows, maybe they'll introduce them in Star Wars Eclipse, the upcoming High Republic video game. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. May the Force be with you, always.